It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the nice introduction. When I was walking in today, I met a young woman, and she was telling me about Mary Beth and how spectacular she is. So there you go. There's a feather in your cap already. We have had the pleasure of working in MAREP as volunteers, and it's such a warm, nice place to be. And I really encourage people to start volunteering when they're on this journey of dementia. Every time we walk into the MAREP programs, we get a big kiss and a hug from Sherry, and also with Lisa, who's standing next to Sherry. Lisa is a research assistant, and we work very closely with Lisa because we have started a project called the A Photo Journey Through Dementia. Can't even get that straight. And we have an album that Sherry and a fellow by the name of Diego have prepared for us along with Lisa. And this is the photo journey through dementia. It's ongoing, and we'll go as long as we're able to do that. It'll be on display out, in the other room. And this photo journey, the photographer is from Toronto. Toronto's getting a lot of accolades today. From Toronto, and I can't say his last name, but his name is Diego, the guy who takes the pictures. He has a 16-letter name, which I cannot accomplish. So anyway, we want to thank Sherry and Lisa for being a part of our journey. And you can see the picture here that Diego has taken. And Carl and I are partners and have been partners in this journey all the way along. We've had the very, very good fortune of being connected to 4 great organizations. And the first organization is the Alzheimer Society. And we started out in Sarnia. We've since moved to KW. And now we're a part of the KW Alzheimer's Society. They're just so helpful, and they have so many resources for anybody who's thinking about dementia, wants to learn about dementia. They have a fabulous library, and we're very pleased to be a part of that organization. The Community Care Access Center, otherwise known as CCAC, has been great in helping us access all the services that we need on this journey. And the Sunnyside Community Alzheimer Program and Respite program has been fabulous for us. They work along with the University of Waterloo and MAREP, and I'm just so pleased that all these organizations are working together. I really just don't have a lot of time or respect for people who work in silos. Last but not least, of course, is the Murray Alzheimer Research and Education Program, otherwise known as MAREP, and here at the University of Waterloo. And we've been a part of the By Us, For Us guides. And when you're a part of establishing any of these things, you learn more than what you give. So I really encourage people to get involved with organizations and with research projects. We've been a part of Changing Melodies, and of course the photo journey through dementia. Now Carl's 75 years old now, and he's in excellent physical condition, which oftentimes is very difficult for people to deal with because they see people with dementia as being frail and elderly. Carl is anything but frail, and he doesn't think he's very old. So that's a good thing. And unlike many other people, Carl has insight. He has had insight, and he still has insight into his dementia. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because we've been actively engaged or because it's just because we're lucky. In this presentation, I'll talk about our personal dementia journey. Everybody's journey is unique, and hopefully my presentation will give you some helpful hints about dementia. I describe some of the things we found most helpful along the way and actions we've taken to compensate for our losses. And we have indeed experienced losses. There's just no question about that. We no longer do ballroom dancing. We no longer sail. And there are things that are just, Carl's not able to do, and some say things are just unsafe at this, and golfed. Yeah. Actually, up until a year ago, Carl golfed 18 holes, 5 days a week, and he walked the course with an 85-year-old man. And I'll tell you, they got upset because people held them back because they were so slow. In the beginning, Carl and I were partners in care, and we began our journey by contacting the Alzheimer's Society of Sarnia-Lambton, and we attended educational classes and support groups. We've since done the same thing. We repeat the classes, and we participate at the Alzheimer's Society. And in Sarnia, Carl belonged to a support group, and they called themselves the Forget-Me-Nots, and then they would laugh. They really quite enjoyed that. Along the way, we've been very open and honest, and we had to inform Carl's employer and our family and our friends about the diagnosis. I guess we didn't have to, we did. We chose to do that. And you know, after you tell somebody the first time, it's so much easier. And we got all sorts of support. I can't tell you how much support we got from everybody that we have been involved with. And we've made a point of helping people to understand the disease. And you know, when we first kind of came out of the closet, if you will, which was right after the diagnosis, it was our first action towards advocacy. And we're very proud to think that maybe we've done something to help somebody. Unlike many people on the dementia journey, we haven't noticed the stigma. And I'm not saying that there isn't a stigma, we have not noticed it. We have, however, withdrawn, as I said, from many activities, and just because it's not safe anymore. We tried horseshoes, and that was a real disaster. Straight up in the air, and anybody walking the course would have been in dire straits. So anyway, our losses make us sad, but we try to dwell on, focusing on the activities that we do enjoy. And Carl can walk a real mean 6K with no effort whatsoever. Now, I have a few pictures that I should be going through, and this is a statement from Carl. I've been the luckiest son of a gun in the world, honestly, and he believes it, and I think maybe that's, that keeps him going. And he's still, and he cries, by the way, he's crying right now. He cries when he's happy. And so don't be upset if he's crying. But he does enjoy life a great deal. And we have a lot to be very thankful for. Now, this is our family. And some of the folks aren't there, but they're all very supportive. And our grandchildren are just fabulous. One of them is 9 years old, and every time she comes in, now they live in Japan, but they come home quite regularly. Oh, excuse me, they have moved to Pennsylvania, but they were in Japan. So Carl didn't see them for long periods of time. But when the kids came, this little Tori would walk in and she'd give Grandma a kiss, and she said, "Hi, Grandpa, I'm Tori. I'm your granddaughter." So just to carry on, we registered with the Safely Home Project immediately, because I wanted Carl to get used to having these things. So he put the bracelet on, and he has never had it off. And that's 7 years ago. It just puts us into a zone where we feel as though that if he does get lost, now he would tell somebody that he was lost. And I have a story about that. We live in an adult community, and it has 200 homes, and the perimeter is 2.2K. And everybody, we write little notes in the newsletter about Carl and our progress. And this one day he was walking around our compound, I call it, and he went around 3 times. So this lady came out, she said, "Carl, are you lost?" And he said, "Not today." And she didn't know whether she should laugh or not. So she called me and she said, "Carl went around 3 times." And she said, she recited the story, and I said, "You can laugh." And she said, "Well, it's a little late." So anyway, on the advice of our neurologist, and after we talked about, situations related to driving, Carl very willingly gave up his driver's license. I think when we started early enough, when we could talk about these things and make plans, that it made a significant difference in our lives. And early on, Carl started with the Alzheimer's Day program. in the community in Sarnia. And first off, he said, I don't need to go. You know, it's not time, I don't need to go. And I was trying to encourage him. Well, our daughter came home from Japan and she said, Dad, you should be going to an Alzheimer Day program. I don't need it. So she and her husband went and bought 3 months of 1 day a week with the transportation, and he would never turn down a gift from his daughters. So, you know, there are ways around all of these things without making people feel badly. And I think that's really, really important. I also think it's very, very important to do some research into day programs and into respite programs, because I think it's important to go to the right program if you have dementia. And I'm afraid to use the word dementia now, but anyway. Because it should be geared to people who have dementia. Carl is not a frail elderly, and if he went to some of the frail elderly places where they're playing games and maybe not as actively inclined, it's very it would be very difficult for him. Now, as his disease has progressed to the point, it has progressed, and there's no question about that, he now experiences difficulty with executive functions such as the activities of daily living. He enjoys to socialize. He is actively engaged with our family and the people that live in our community. However, he can't dress himself. He can't undress himself. We need to help him with toileting. And he's also having difficulty with language, getting his point across, and he gets a little frustrated, but then he can make a joke about it. He can still make a joke about it. And I say to people, okay, if you think he's made a joke, laugh. Okay, and because it makes him feel good. He cries, right? So anyway, so we have tried very hard to make adjustments and to compensate, you know, for these situations. And we no longer leave Carl alone because it's a safety issue at this particular point. However, he always has company, so that's a good thing. We have participated in a lot of programming in different places, such as Changing Melodies, and you can see us here. We're in a program and put on by the Alzheimer's Society, and we just had an absolute ball. And I really want to encourage people who have dementia or who have families who have a loved one in their family with dementia. Get out there and do something. You know, it's a lot of fun, and you'll meet a lot of wonderful, wonderful people. We believe that early diagnosis gives you time to plan together. And because changes are inevitable, and it gives you time to look into your finances, look into your legal issues such as power of attorney and advance directives, and it gives you time to learn about the disease so that you can live well with it. We believe in early intervention, which includes the introduction of medications that will slow the progress of the disease. We don't have anything that's going to stop it at this particular point. It allows time to do support groups and get your support system built. And also, we keep involved, obviously, socially, physically, and with mental activities. And we do Nordic pole walking, as you can see here. And Carl can't put his poles on. They're specially ergometrically designed poles, and they have a handle that you are tied to. And he can't get into the poles, but he can sure pole walk once he's into them, I'll tell you. And Carl loves music, and I'm glad you mentioned music. He used to play the piano and he used to play the violin. He no longer can accomplish that. However, he plays the xylophone at Sunnyside. And believe it or not, the music therapist at Sunnyside is blind. He's a 30-year-old blind guy. He can play anything, and he can teach anybody to play anything. So, you know, the world's just a wonderful place, and you see so many wonderful things in it. It's important to identify our needs as we go along this journey and to accept assistance. Doing it on your own is really, I think, a formula for failure. you run into crises. And why do you want to run into a crisis? Why don't we handle things as we go along? So anyway, we do accept assistance from family and community services as required. However, I think we as partners in care need to identify what we need in terms of supports so that people can help us in a meaningful way. Carl, this is Olga, and we just love Olga. She's been with us for 2 years. She's Carl's personal support worker. And they go for walks, and they go walk down to McDonald's, you know, to have lunch. And they go for ice cream every time they're out, except when the store is closed in the wintertime. That's a disaster for them. And I got such a kick out of Olga because Olga will take Carl over to the local racetrack, and she sits in the bleachers, and Carl walks around the racetrack. As the disease progresses, we use Sunnyside Alzheimer's Respite services, and we started out using 1 weekend a month, and now we're at 1 week a month. It's good for both Carl and I. The programming is excellent. He goes on field trips. He's been to the Cami plant. They go to the golf driving range. You go where?
The dog, they have the
oh, the donkey, the donkey farm. He loves the donkey farm. I think that knowing how to communicate with individuals with dementia is extremely important. And I've had to learn to be more patient. I've had to learn to be yes. I can't fire out all the things I want done. Yeah, after 50 years I've learned this. So I try to communicate in a clear and concise manner. And there's lots of information out there. You know, the library at the Alzheimer's Society, there's the By Us For Us book that Brenda has spearheaded on communication is absolutely excellent. Yeah. Over time, my role has evolved from a partner in care to a caregiver and a manager of care. These changes have been easier because of our advanced planning and through talking with others who have traveled this path before us. Both Carl and I have benefited from participating in the Alzheimer's Society courses, support groups, and events. The CCAC and the case managers are an important part of our team. And I'd like to say that Dr. Whitehouse is going to be part of our team too. That's just great when you're with all the work that you're doing, you know, on our behalf. We have a sense of purpose when participating in MAREP projects such as the Photo Journey Through Dementia and doing presentations such as this, and we really thank them for that opportunity. And we have both benefited from the exceptional programming of the Sunnyside Community Alzheimer Program and the Sunnyside Alzheimer Respite Program. Both Carl and I are pleased if we can help people to understand and deal with dementia. In conclusion, I'd like to emphasize, oops, wasn't on that, that's okay. We have an open, honest, and attending approach to dealing with the dementia journey. And it's made our road less frightening, and it's given us a sense of control over our destiny. My motto is, plan for the worst, hope for the best, and hopefully we'll be ready for whatever comes. Thank you very much.
So while we get oh yes, Anne-Marie, come back. Oh. On behalf of MAREP, I would like to thank you for all the wonderful work you continue to do for us. You're such an inspiration, and this is just a small token of our appreciation for all the work that you do with us here, and you and Carl both. So thank you. Thank you.